Hey y'all, we're going to have a real talk today, and the topic is eczema, sensitive skin, the journey to deal with that, the flare ups, the constant chasing of products that can help. At least we think that's what they're going to do. Dietary changes that can make huge improvements, at least they did for me. The impact that having challenging skin can have on your confidence and your outlook. So at the end of the day, I am going to show you my morning and nighttime routine. I'm going to talk about the current products that I'm using and all that good stuff. But I really want to get into this topic because it's one that I think impacts a lot of people, and it's a very sensitive topic. When we're sounding off in the comments, when we're just having the discussion, I want you to be kind to me, and I want you to be kind to anyone else that's disclosing their challenges or talking about what's going on with their skin. Okay, so come on in and let's get to it. So, eczema flare ups. They can show up as rashes, dry patches, hives, and they're typically triggered by allergies and food sensitivities. For me, food was a big part of it. And when I started to cut out all those common triggers, I started to see a huge improvement. And of course, it's not just the stuff that you put in your body, it's also the products that you use on your skin, of course. And we'll get into all of that. But first, let's touch on how challenging skin can have an impact on your confidence. So it's just not about managing flare ups, it's also about how it affects your confidence, right? Especially when it's on your face. I've had days when I haven't left the house because I felt so self conscious about my face. Um, there is a pressure to have perfect, perfect skin. And when you're dealing with things like redness and the dryness, discoloration, hyperpigmentation, it can be hard to feel confident and feel good in your own skin, literally. And you know what? Whether it's a major breakout or an eczema flare up, or you can even insert acne, right? Cystic or persistent or what have you. And I've had all of the above. It can make you feel like everybody's staring at you, right? And, the truth of the matter is, some people don't even notice, right? They're looking at you because they see you, right? They're not looking at the skin on your face. But then there are others who do notice, who may stare a little too long. And then, of course, there are those who will offer you all the unsolicited advice. Yeah, those people. And they mean no harm, don't get me wrong, but that can be a little hard to take, especially when you're feeling insecure. So here's the mindset shift. One of the things that I've learned is that you can't let those reactions define how you feel about yourself. Your skin does not determine your worth, and everybody's skin journey is different. So, here's how we start to build that resilience, okay? When I know that my skin has had a rough day, I remind myself that it's just a phase and it doesn't reflect who I am. And then I choose to focus on the things that do bring me confidence. Things like my style, things like my smile, things like the fact that I am taking care of myself, right? That makes me feel good, and it takes my attention off of the skin on my face. So let's get into some practical tips for confidence if you're really struggling with this. First tip: use makeup that works for sensitive skin. That will allow you then to have the coverage that you need if that makes you feel better, right? Second tip, if you're into style, get into your clothing, get into your accessories, and put that stuff on. I mean, put it on. Because if that's stuff that makes you confident, it's then going to take your focus off of your skin concerns and put it into where you're feeling good in your own skin. Okay? Third tip, remember everybody has insecurities. Everybody. So that means that they're more likely to be focused on themselves than to be focused on your skin. So just remember that. Ultimately, everybody has an off day, right? So when you're having those off days, just remember to be kind to yourself. Be mindful that your skin does not define you. It does not impact your worth, okay? And what you need to just do is to know that, frankly, you are the shit. It's not about your skin. It's about how you carry yourself. All right? Okay, so let's talk about diet. So, foods that cause inflammation, like dairy and gluten, at least for me, they really flare up my eczema. So, I have to be careful about my intake. I found that eliminating the foods that trigger, right, they make the biggest differences. So, let's just talk about some of the foods that I've had to eliminate. Nuts, all nuts, tree nuts, regular nuts, all nuts, right? My favorite candy bar is a Snicker bar, which has peanuts. Also, the Cadbury, the one with the fruit and nuts, those two. And let me tell you, when I go to the grocery store and I'm checking out and I see all the candy bars just lined up by the cashier, I swear to you, that Snicker bar stands up and it says, "Oh, girlfriend, where have you been? Miss you around the way. You don't want to hang out. You don't write. You don't come by." And that's what I'm talking about. It's not funny. This is real life. Okay? So let's talk about some of the other items I've had to cut out. So I mentioned dairy, which I've had to cut down on, and gluten. But things that I'm actually allergic to, those nuts, as well as all fish and shellfish. Now, I'm from the Caribbean and I can't eat fish or shellfish. You don't know what that feels like. And I hope you don't ever have to. So, some of the other things, which are not allergies, but I have food sensitivities, and I was tested for this, by the way, things like berries, right? I'm talking here strawberries, raspberries, those kind of things. They give me flare ups. Citrus, again, I'm from the Caribbean. Things like oranges, lemons, all those good things, that make things taste so delightful. Flare ups. Processed sugars. Yeah, that I don't mind as much because those are just not good for you anyway. Okay. Um, but it just goes to show you that you have to pay attention to the things that are unique to you that cause you to have inflammation. Incidentally, these are also things that would impact my digestive system, right? The GI tract, tummy aches, nausea, etc. It's all about your body and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But I found that in cutting out these triggers or severely reducing them, because every once in a while a girl's got to have cheese, a girl's got to have a little bit of dairy, but in moderation. It's minimal. Okay. It's not easy to do this. It really is not. But eczema is for life. So, therefore, you have to stick with it. And ultimately, the results will speak for themselves and will be worth it. So let's get into this routine, get into these products, see all the stuff that's giving me a little face. So before I do that, let me just let you know that all is not well over here. Breakout. Okay? But honey, I've got style, I've got grace, and I give good face, and I've got a great smile. Let's get into it. Let's go on over to my haven. Okay, so here we are in the inner sanctum. I am going to walk you through my night care routine. Since I'm wearing makeup, it's the perfect time to just walk through what I do to remove all the day and get into that situation. And then I'll walk you through the morning products that I use, which are pretty much like the nighttime. It's just a couple of tweaks. Okay, so let me get myself prepped and ready for washing. Hold, please. Okay, we're all set. Earrings are off, hair is up. We are ready to get rocking and rolling. All right, first thing I have to do is get rid of the day. So let me show you what product I used for that. Clinique. And you'll see quite a few of my products, which aren't many, are by Clinique. All right. So this is one of their top products. And you know what? I can see why. I love this stuff. It is so moisturizing. When I put this on and take it off, it leaves my skin very soft. This is what it looks like. Not very appealing, but it works. So let me show you how I apply. By the way, I know that when I'm doing my eyes, it looks like I'm going to town. I'm actually using a very light hand. Okay, we are ready to rinse. Be right back. Okay, so I am all washed up. And you see, if you thought my eyebrows were thin before, when they're washed off, look at that. So this is the skin. Okay, you can see the texture, the eczema. I do have a little bit of discoloration. And a couple days ago, the cheese that I put on my pasta, showing up. It is what it is, right? Okay, next step is to dry and to be very gentle. Now, this stuff, one and done, takes everything off. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, I don't do foundation, right? Brows, mascara, liner, lipstick, it takes it all off. I also use from time to time a little bit of product on my hyperpigmentation. I put product on my hyperpigmentation just to dab just those spots, but that's it. It's like 3 or 4 spots that I'll put a little dab on, and that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna dry. I'm using a paper towel. Um, and what I typically do is I'll use a face cloth. It has to be clean. And I go through those on the regular, right? Because I don't like to use stuff that's been used before because I'm just sensitive to the germs and my skin is very sensitive. Okay, so now I'm dry. And the face skin is softer. Oh shit! First product. All right. I found this on TikTok. I will put up the handle and everything will be in the description box, of course, of this product. The young lady that made this also had eczema, and she said that this did wonders for her. I'm typically dubious of claims like that, but I was like, you know what? Her skin looks marvelous. And I took a look at her website. I took a look at some of the comments that were made by people that bought it, and the reviews were pretty good. So I got it. I've been using this one now, I'd say for about 5 or 6 weeks. And here's what I will say: my texture is not as rough as it used to be. And the way that my skin feels, it is super soft. And that to me is a win win. And actually, yesterday, I just purchased my second bottle. So I'm waiting for that to arrive. All right, so let's get into it. Serum. Okay. And I know all that fancy schmancy stuff you're supposed to dab it in and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll play along. Okay. I've also noticed that it's reduced puffiness as well. So it's got some anti-inflammatory ingredients. And there we go with the serum. It's in. Okay. For nighttime, I feel like I need to put something on my lips here, but we'll keep going. Next thing for nighttime routine is this overnight moisturizer. Mm-hmm. So this one is a thicker cream. I'm going to have to mute this because this is down to the last nitty gritty and it. Okay. Don't need much, but obviously I've been using these products. Okay. You'll notice I'm not going down my neck, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay. That's it for the face. And then for my neck and décolletage, Strivectin. So this is for my turkey neck, the loss of elasticity and all the things as you get older. And this, if nothing else, has helped to get rid of a lot of the fat and all that stuff that was under there. Um, the thick gels. It's not perfect. It's only been a few weeks. But I will also say that my neck is softer than soft, if that's a thing. Okay, that's my nighttime routine. Not complicated. Okay, the wash, the serum, the moisturizer, and the neck. 4 products, and we're done. Okay, so in the morning, what I do is I get up, and it's either this, also Clinique, super, super gentle. And this, as you can you see that? Okay, I use these products. Now, I alternate between that and old school. Old school from drugstore. This stuff is great. So I use one of those. The other thing is if I'm not wearing makeup, meaning for me, the brows, the eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick, then I'm going to be using one of these to wash my face at night. Okay? I only use this when I'm wearing makeup. All right? So this is what I use in the morning. And these are gentle, but they give a nice suds. So it really leaves the skin feeling clean, but not stripped. Then what I do is I will put on a moisturizer. So the serum for me is not ideal for the day because I have combination skin, but I tend to look very oily. So what I'll do is I'll give a nice generous pump of this stuff. This Moisture Surge stuff, excellent, okay? Leaves the skin moisturized, leaves it soft, but without it being too thick. Let me show you the consistency. Okay, so I will do a nice full generous pump, and then what I'll do so that I don't get oily during the day is I will use one drop in this moisturizer, and then I'll take that and I'll put it on, and that's my routine for the day. And let me tell you, it works. Okay, so we keep it simple and manageable, and the skin is flourishing, and it's nothing like those photos that I was popping up. So let me give you the close up. Gray hair is growing out nicely. If you haven't caught that episode, what are you waiting for? Get on that playlist and start watching. Okay? So that's the routine, and those are the products. I will leave everything in the description box. So managing eczema, it requires diligence. So it requires good skincare, and it requires being mindful of what you eat. Best thing to do is to use gentle, let me say that again, gentle hydrating products, right? That's what you need. Nothing too harsh, and you need to avoid any of those food triggers. And that should ultimately do the trick. At least it did for me, right? Everybody's different, but that's the general consensus about at least where you should start. So if you are struggling with eczema or sensitive skin, it may be worth it to look into food allergies, food sensitivities, because that may be part of the problem. Okay? So I want to hear from you. Do you have eczema? Do you have sensitive skin? What have you tried? Have you made changes to your diet? Are there products that are your, I swear by these because they really work for me products? Or have you tried things and failed? Have you learned anything new from this video? I want to hear from you. So sound off in the comments. Let's talk about the next episode. The next episode is the final episode of this grooming and styling series, and it wraps up my videos for October. And it's going to be on my future wish list, including whether or not I am going to move forward with plastic surgery. So to hear more on that, you'll have to check me out next week. And the schedule is on the community tab. It'll tell you when all my videos are going to be posted because I'm trying to keep myself accountable and get the information and the content out. You know, consistency, consistency, consistency. Okay? So thank you so much for watching. And if you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? So like, comment, subscribe, okay? And I will see you in the next one. Bye.